like a 10-second delay.
If we'd all rise for the prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask your blessing to be with us tonight in our city council meeting. Pray your blessing upon our mayor and city council members and all who've gathered to share in this time together. Pray your blessing upon this community in which we live and work. We thank you for Jeffersontown and all the great times that we share together. We pray your blessing upon us, especially in this time of unsettled weather. We pray for safety and well-being for everyone, especially remember our first responders. We pray for their safety as well. Grant your peace upon all that have gathered here tonight. May your will be done in all that is said and done here. For it is in your holy name we humbly pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Rick, pull the door shut. All right. Doug Meissner, Reverend. You don't put Rev by it anymore?
When you're retired, it doesn't matter.
You're always a Rev. Once a Rev, always a Rev.
I wrote this out to make sure I was done in 3 minutes. Jeffersontown Christian Church, the city of Jeffersontown, are co-sponsoring an evening of food and entertainment for the purpose of raising funds for the tornado-ravaged areas of Western Kentucky. Funds raised will be sent to and administered by the Western area of the Office of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in Kentucky. These funds will be added to those on hand for the purpose of meeting immediate needs without bias, meaning we'll give them to anyone who comes, not just people from our church community. Those items might include things like medicine that's not a long-term thing, fuel, personal items, personal care items, things that they can't use FEMA money or federal or state funds for. Since the city of Jeffersontown is allowing the use of the Jeffersonian without cost as a co-sponsor, we thought you might also like to contribute some cash as well. I can tell you that the event will be on March the 6th on the Sunday evening. There'll be 2 music groups from Jeffersontown Christian Church. They will not be playing necessarily religious music. We've been known to play things like Fat Bottom Girls and yeah, anyway. So those 2 groups.
This is recorded, Doug, by the way.
I know it is. And our singers will get me for this too, because they're all women. And also we will have Tom Mabe and another comedian will be performing 2 sets that night as well. And the food is being catered by Louisville Pizza. I don't have a specific amount that I came to ask for, somewhere north of $100, somewhere south of 10,000.
That's a minister.
I'm just leaving it up to you because all of the funds will go to support those people in the Western area, whether they're from Dawson Springs or Bowling Green or Mayfield. You probably know our church in Mayfield was destroyed totally. So there are lots of people out there in those communities and even around beyond those communities, and they'll all be welcome to come and get aid like that from the group.
And for that sum, he's donating a table of 8 that if you all would like. I was going to ask you after the end of the meeting if any of you all would like to attend. He is giving us a table up front or in the arena if you all would like to.
Yep.
So we will mark you down. Whoever says yes on that one. I got the sheet here, Carol.
When is this, March 6th?
It's a Sunday night from 5 to 7:30 at the Jeffersonian.
March 6th.
March 6th.
I'm in there.
Right. Anybody else know at this time? Ron?
I don't know at this time.
Okay. Anybody else know at this time?
I thought you were going that round. I'll be there March 6th, and I'll give you your $100.
I'll write that down.
Do that because I'll.
Anybody else at
You can
this
have it
time?
tonight before you leave.
If not, please let me know. That gives us 5 people. So
I'm sorry, Mayor, what time was it on the?
5 to 7:30.
Yeah.
That's what you sent and said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what somebody
what
else
Diane
sent and said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to entertain the now or present it now as many times y'all do on funding request and vote on it after the next meeting, or however y'all want to do.
I have no. Go ahead, Carol.
I was gonna say, I'll make a motion that we take it out of the council funds, if y'all would like to do that.
How
And
much?
$3,000 left.
three, what now?
3,000 left in the council.
There's 3,000 left?
Is that community outreach or council?
That's council.
Council.
Community outreach has none.
What did we spend? I don't remember us spending any money on it.
We dropped the money down to 30,000 this year, and we spent 27,000 on the cameras and stuff to get everything.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't remember
Council
spending that money.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
How about 1,000? Y'all go with 1,000? Is that okay? Mm-mm.
Your new glasses. You
How
got
much
two,
is
you got two
community
sets.
outreach?
Yeah, because Casey,
Nine.
Huh?
Outreach has 9,000 in it still.
Still have another funding request coming.
How about 3,000?
3,000?
Well, I mean, it's up to the,
It's the council's pleasure.
Yeah.
Right.
3,000?
3,000 out of the council funds.
Uh-huh. Well, it's not out of the council fund because it's only 3,000 in there. I don't want to leave that balance
So
zero
it's out of our outreach.
out of the outreach.
Shouldn't we
So-
keep the outreach money for when it's local? Not saying that this isn't local, but
I can't hear you, Mark.
oh no, shouldn't we keep the outreach fund for local initiatives and take this out of the council fund?
Yes.
Well, there's only 3,000 in there.
Yeah,
Y'all want to deplete that totally?
Yep.
it's between now and what, July 1. So
Right.
do we expect any more council fund expenses between now and then?
Okay. If you want to deplete it, that's fine. Okay. I'll make a motion that we give $3,000 out of the council funds for, what am I going to call this?
Relief for the Western Kentucky cities.
Relief for the Western Kentucky cities.
I'll
Second.
that. Never mind.
Any further discussion? Being a city, we like to help cities. We're not a county, just to let you know. Kathy down there at Mayfield or Chris at Dawson Springs or any of the other places. So with that being said, no other further discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Good job, Rev. See, you did good.
Let me write that down for
No.
We're going to see the city clerk. He'll take care of it.
the city's giving us how much?
$3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
Can you
Doug, I do
give me
need
your
you to,
email address so I can send you an email tomorrow?
and
So I know how to get the check written and all that kind of good stuff.
Doug, if you would get with Missy, my executive assistant, and ask for a funding request so we have who, what, where, when.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it voted on for the cameras out of the council funds at a
Yes.
meeting? Okay. I was not there.
I'll send you an email tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, I think I can.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you,
Doug.
sir. All right. Dina.
Good evening. Great to
Dina.
see you all. I'm Dina Karam. I'm president of the J-Town Chamber of Commerce. And as you know, I have started a new monthly report to you. So at your place setting, you should have just a quick little one-sheeter about some things that we have coming up. I'm trying to do that once a month to see if I might get you to come to some things and if you might want to get engaged in other ways and for us just to build a little bit of a relationship. So now that COVID feels like maybe we're coming out on the other side, we haven't really had a chance to interact as much as we normally would since we've been doing Zoom meetings and we haven't just been out as much. So I'd like to come here more often and see you. And then that little one pager is a quick cheat sheet on what we have going on. But the one thing I want to point out on that sheet and invite you to is our annual meeting. So this, we've been, the last 2 years, we've done the annual meeting as a Zoom call. This is our meeting where we sort sort of affirm our board members. We talk about the year that has passed and we talk about the year that is coming ahead and the plans that we have for our business community. And this year is really special since we're going to get to do it in person. So if you'll note on there, it's Monday, February 28th. It's at the Waterfront Botanical Gardens. The seating is limited. We'll only be taking 150 reservations. So if you want to come, you just need to make that reservation. The information is on there. It's also on our website. But I just wanted to offer a special invitation for you to join us for that special occasion. And Mayor, that was really all. I don't really have anything else.
Please let Missy know, because it is a $45 charge that Bill has to send a check for. So, and if you're truly going, because once we send the check, we have the spot at the table. So if you're not sure, we kind of asked you to be sure.
Dina, can we look at that date? Because it says February 28th. On my calendar, it says that's a Monday. This is the Wednesday.
She just said it Monday too, but it says
Monday.
Wednesday here, so it's Monday.
Oh, does it say Wednesday?
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's a typo that I just did
It's
just
Monday.
to you all. And it's a Monday. Monday. It was originally on Wednesday, February 23rd, and we moved it to Monday. So it must not have changed the day.
That's okay. I
Just
just
changed the date.
What's the time on that, 28th?
It's, cocktails start at 5:30. So I just wanted you to know that you were invited, and anything I can do, just let me know.
Thank you,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Jeff.
Thank you, council and mayor. 19 people running. What a wonderful thing. Democracy in action. I don't know what it takes to run. I've been coming here for years, and I just try and learn by example and by finding out facts. Before you have the garbage ordinance. It's on Jefferson Town Code of Ordinances 2020 S5, if that's correct with the counselor. You know, I've been violating the garbage ordinance on a regular basis. My cans are about 90 gallons. The ordinance says they have a maximum capacity of 20 gallons. Under the ordinance, to be illegal, you cannot put them out before midnight of the day of pickup. So I put them out generally evening time the day before. It also says that once they've been picked up, you have to promptly remove them. If they've not been picked up, then you can just let them sit there forever. You know, as a former police officer, you try and find Kentucky statutes that are just not that wishy-washy. It's probably nobody's fault that it's this way. It's an organization's inertia that prevents things from changing. So I bring it before you all to understand maybe this needs to be changed. And you don't need me to get elected for next year to bring it up. I ask for you all to look at it and maybe find a better way to enact the ordinance. And by the way, it's $250 if they don't like you and they cite you for your garbage can being out there illegally.
You know, Jeff, as long as I've been here, I've never known anybody to get cited for that.
Then why have it?
I mean, people who work in the daytime and they don't get home till 5 o'clock, how are they going to get their cans taken in immediately?
I agree, but to have in there pointless ordinances, what does that serve? I mean, I look through there and they've got somewhere in the ordinance, you've got the street sign or street lights for all of the original subdivision around St. Edwards. listed by ordinance in there. I don't, you know, what happens on your side of the bench? It can't be just voting for the bills for the month. Anyways, I thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
I guess I'm confused. What are you asking for us to update this to the size of the garbage can we use now?
It's a little more complicated than that. I presume that counselor can bring that all up to you all.
I was always told that the empty receptacle had to be brought in within 24 hours. Mayor, am I incorrect in that?
I don't have an ordinance. I can't verify that, yes or no.
And I don't know if these have been codified with our most recent ordinances that we have or not.
I
So
just gave the
Counselor,
counselor the form it came from.
this was originally passed in May of 1976.
it's been codified.
It
Okay.
was revised in 1989. No, it was placed into the 1989 code. But this dates back to 1976. It probably hasn't been touched because I can tell you in the 9 years I've been here, there's never been a single complaint registered about garbage cans. So given all of the work that this city has attended to, in my 9-year tenure, by the way, I have written more ordinances than were done in the 32 years preceding me. So we're kind of busy.
Yeah.
So that's, and if Mr. Moran wants to put me to busy work on the taxpayer's expense, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay by doing that because it was evidently clear enough to the councilman to my left that to bring it up. So it must be on his mind. That would be you, Mark.
What?
You can bring it up.
No,
I
have
had
no
somebody
idea.
ask me, a constituent asked me about that. It's actually a friend of mine. And I said, wow, I don't know. And I thought there was something where we had to bring the garbage cans in, but I've forgotten the rule and I brought it up.
Okay.
I don't know
I'll-
if you're his neighbor.
I
I
have
don't
the audio.
know.
I'll look back
going on?
on to see what it is.
So Jeff, what did I do?
Asked about the garbage
Asked about garbage. When?
about 3 meetings ago.
Oh,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, I appreciate
Thank you.
all right.
appreciate the history lesson.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is great.
Reading of the minutes, January 18th, 2022.
Mayor, I would move that the minutes be approved as distributed.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion, changes, or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. General Fund Warrant 1554.
I move general fund warrant number 1554 be approved as distributed.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussions, deletions, corrections?
Mayor, I have 2 comments and 1 question.
Sure.
And this is actually for City Clerk, I guess, and the mayor. I'm pleased to see that the Revenue Department has purchased a new program. I think it's going to be much more efficient. I'm glad you guys were able to work with Damon and find something that is will be worthwhile. So kudos for that. Also, for the first time ever, maybe I haven't paid attention before, I saw that the property tax refunds, we had some double payments come in. I haven't seen that before. I know we refunded them, but have to. But is it something the way we sent them out, or maybe somebody got confused? Why are they making double payments? I haven't seen it before.
Part of the mortgage company paid it, and they paid it themselves as well.
Is that accurate, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
They actually had a company that paid double.
Yeah, there weren't many, but I just hadn't seen it before.
company paid it and they also paid it.
And then the last thing I have is on page 11, I believe. No, page 10, sorry. Page 10, I know we've had trouble with the sweeper truck we've got. Had to have a lot of work done on it.
It's working.
But it's working. I see that it's you got this back from little truck sales. Is it going to be okay, or do we need to plan for the future for a new one, or what are we thinking about? I mean, I haven't spoken.
As of right now, it's okay.
Good. Okay, I didn't know where we
So,
stood with
and
it.
Jimmy's negotiating the price of what people have charged us over time to repair it.
I know we had to use one while this was going down, so I didn't know if there was something
So that
irreplaceable.
we're hoping that it is used. So with the used equipment of anything can break down at any time. But right now it's working fine.
Because it's
Well, we can't get out and try it right now because Jimmy and I both agree we don't want to sweep salt in the truck.
Right.
So we're kind of waiting to test it on a hard run
and this
a little later.
We didn't buy this that many years ago. What, 7 years ago?
I bought it when I first came in 11 years ago.
11
probably
years
11
ago.
years ago. Yeah. Yeah. The one that we had, well, maybe 9 years ago. The one we had a hole in it.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, remember
the box was. We
we
had to
would
get
vacuum it one end, come out the other end.
right, and we went with the stainless steel box.
Man, I'm sure it's a lot more than that now.
I'm sorry.
It was we ended up going with stainless steel box, I believe, because of that.
Which spring?
Okay,
Yeah.
and this problem was a wiring harness.
Harness. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. Road fund warrant 941.
Make a motion
Go ahead.
to approve road fund warrant 941 by
Title.
title only.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Any discussion?
No, I said second.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hearing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you all. The next thing on the agenda is what we do every year. It's the State of the City address. And I'll go down below to get got a lot of pins down. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Every year is, for the last 11 years, I've done a State of the City address, and every year the State of the City has always been, we're moving forward. And always, never stopping, always engaging, not studying, but doing what needs to be done to keep our city in a viable, moving forward. So this year's title is Always Moving Forward, because through COVID, many times people just stayed and hibernated, but J-Town didn't. We're known for being innovative and moving forward. And one of the things I wanted to do before I left you all was to make sure the employment here is absolutely the best of the best. And Bill, you tell me to point.
You got to turn it on the side.
Got it.
There you go.
In our
Sorry.
permitting department, as you all know, we've had several improvements and a lot of new help move in there. And one of them was Scott Thompson, because we had Chris Rocky, who had so much ability and so much time in that we really miss him for that. But Scott's come in and he has gotten to be he is the director. We appointed him as the director, and he is at a level 3 commercial. Now, in past years, our level 3 commercial is one that has the top level. Chris Rocky was the only one that had that level in the past years. But now, because of Amanda, she is a commercial building and mechanical inspector, as you see there, but she's a level 3. So now you have 2 level 3s. So if all of a sudden one's sick or one leaves and retires or whatever else, we're ready. We were really having a hard time this past year replacing Chris because of the limited amount of people out there. We've been fortunate that Amanda came to work for us, and Chris went out and got the certification needed. And he not only has the level 3 certificate, or Scott has a level 3, he also has the electrical ability to do inspection. So we're covered completely. And with that, we had a retirement in code. And as you all know, that was a part-time position. We asked you all to go to full-time because you always were asking to do more in the code enforcement. And we got Ron that came in, and he has been doing fantastic, by compliments by you all and everybody else that says he's out there. He's fair. He is one that he had a lady that had a backyard that had a problem, and sometimes he's really, really firm, but he organized the scouts to go in and help her and clean out the backyard on a weekend on his own dime and made sure everything was cleaned up because he realized that she couldn't do it. So, but he's full-time now, and he actually went out and got his level 1, level 2 family dwelling. So as far as inspections, we're very much have the ability to do it. And Ron has been doing code enforcement, and he understands what it takes to be both firm but nice and what it means to be part of J-Town. and make sure J-Town stays what it looks like. But then we have Steve Rusi that's been here. You all know him as the guy that comes up here and talks to you about the planning and zoning and everything else. But he was the one that suggested a couple of meetings ago that we add landscaping to his agenda, because he's the one that helped write the landscaping ordinance in the LDC. And so to make things go faster and better for those around the community, he stood up and said, I want to do landscaping because they get caught up downtown Metro. They won't in a year by now, but I'll just let you put that in. But so our permitting department is far better than anything we've ever had, and it's ready for you all, whoever takes over the seat that I'm sitting. These people are the best of the best, as we always hire. And during that time frame, we've also annexed. We've added families, add people to our community. And during that time, we had land here, woods of land here, Deer Creek, and several homes on Tales of Road, which was 294 homes. And then about 30 days from now, the final will come on Kirby Estates, which will be another 120 homes. So we've added 414 homes over the past short period here. And if you take that times 3, you're over 1,000 extra people in our community that are part of our family, that have been a part of our family for many years, but now they actually are J-Tonians. So at City Hall, we're trying to get what you all wanted us to do for many years. We're trying to update this room right here. And as you see, we're kind of in a disarray waiting for product to come in. Welcome to the pandemic. But we have done the cameras, and the cameras far exceed anything we've ever had in the past. And we've also gone from Tiki Live to YouTube in order to get the videos out that people want to see and can participate, as far as seeing what you all do on a daily basis or on a monthly meeting at here. But we're also getting ready to replace the carpet. We did have the pews in here. We have a few in the back. Please tell the people that are sitting on the pews they are not attached, and they cannot file a work comp claim if they fall off of them. I don't know who's sitting back there, but I have a feeling there are employees, and I don't want them to get hurt. So if you would, please inform them that they are not attached. But and when we did the pews, you all know, we reached out to the disaster victims, as the Reverend was talking about. His church got totally demolished, and we reached out to the different churches, whether it was Schuyler trying to reach out or us through Cities Helping Cities, and seeing if any of the churches that needed them, we were going to donate them to them. And nobody at this time is ready for those, and we even said we'd store them for them, but they weren't sure what their needs in the future, and they said not right now. So we reached out to the community and put them out, and we sold most of them. We're down to about 4. 2 of them will be put in the back for nostalgia and also be used, so that because they were part of this room, they'll be put on the back wall. And coming in the future will be new carpeting. That's right now talking to the carpeting people, hopefully the end of this month. But we wanted to be able to use this room in the future for meetings and functions and everything else by eliminating the benches and putting in the chairs. They're both more comfortable. So the people here will stay longer. Wait a second, we better put the benches back and make it a little harder here. But we can have meetings, because anytime I want to have a meeting, or you all want to have a meeting that's any larger, we always had to go down the Jeffersonian and have it open. And now you can use this area either for training or for meetings in the future. The revenue department, as was mentioned by Brian, that they've added the new computer system to take us not only to do what we need now, but Damon has looked at what needs to be in the future of collections and as a city. And hopefully that same computer program will go on into the HR and the managing of paying the bills in our community, our city. The museum is another thing we haven't touched for a long time, but we've always had it on the agenda to do it. We're moving forward on that. The biggest thing that started that was the air conditioners that were installed at the library and the museum were installed in the ceiling, and they actually installed those units in the ceiling and then built the building around them. So trying to get those repaired or get them out, they have reached their useful life. We couldn't do it. It took us a while to try to figure out what to do. And with that, we had to put in 9 units to get the whole building done. We hope to get the last 2 finished either last Friday or this coming Friday. And with that, we've gone down into the museum and added a storage building and our storage area for Beth. And we've also decided to put in new lighting for the display cases, bring it up to the modern age rather than fluorescent lights. We've added LED lights. We were going to paint, and we're putting new carpeting in. And then also the doors, like you see back here, will be welcoming doors going into the museum. Right now, they look like you're going into a school with a little slit of a window. We want to kind of make it more inviting because our history is very important to us. For those of you that get the Jeffersontown magazine, the Jeffersonian magazine, you realize that Beth has written all the articles that portray the history of our community. And you can see how much our community has developed over the years. And a lot of that is being saved at the museum. So come and visit it in the future. Right now it's in disarray and it's closed, but we hope to have that up and going within the next 30 days. All right, Bill. Oh, on. There we go. When we talk about the police department, and we'll get into what's coming later from the police department, but as this past year, we look at it and we've been on camera. The body cameras for the second or third time, we have got the body cameras and the police are using them. And they're working very well. They're working to the capacity, as we told you all, both going backwards in time if we have to or forward, whatever we need. And they're working in unison with our computers and everything. The purchase of in-car computers and mounting stations. Our computers in our cars were very dated and did not follow the computer system that we were using, so we had to update them. And then the cameras around both the community, whether it's at Veterans Park or at the police department, we've upgraded those so that they can check and look and actually see the people's faces and recognition, and to the point we can actually pick out a car and say, have you seen this car before? And it'll go back and do the digital reconnection of where they come, when they come, and everything. So the connectivity of security where we go in the future, it's building. We haven't replaced all the cameras, but we're gradually replacing them and making sure that we can look back to see if an incident happened. We did that when the Freedom Wall got vandalized. We found out who the person was, and the police were able to go knock on the door and talk to him. They did, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they went to the police. We were able to catch the person and make sure that it doesn't happen again. The Public Works, they've been busy over the past year. As you all know, we had a little collapse kind of in between years, Bunsen Way. They decided not to take the mayor's suggestion and make it a ramp to go from one side to the other. I thought it would be very much fun thing to do in our park, an enjoyment thing. We put a little ramp in, but it ended up being $250,000, $300,000 to fix the thing, put the new pipe in, and do everything that needed to be done. So the Public Works worked with the contractors, and we got it done and done right. They have done over $800,000 in paving, and as you can see, almost 22 million pounds. So if you want to go out and start campaigning, you can say the city of J-Town has put over 22 million tons or pounds of asphalt out there. So you can say that's easier than 10,000 tons. So it depends on how you want to slant it. But over the tenure, when I first started as mayor, we were talking $200,000 a year, and you all graciously were working together. We're putting over 800,000. So our infrastructure is doing fantastic in this city every year. The other projects, as you see up on the screen, are different areas around town. But the other one that the Public Works is very proud of is the concrete they put in front of the firehouse. That's second to none because our Public Works are the best of the best, as you hear me say all the time. And that concrete they put there, just the concrete alone, was $55,000, not excluding the talent and abilities that our people have to help our neighbor out. The fire department is, or has, the office is now down. At the chief's office has been completely torn down today, and they will be rebuilding that very soon, along with our 911. We will be putting that next to them. The Public Works also had at their own facility, there was a pipe that was collapsed, and they had to go down 14 feet to get the pipe replaced. It was a big deal, and we understand how to do that and what needed to do to make sure that the drainage in our community is second to none. When we start talking about the pandemic, what is happening in our community, what results have happened because of people working from home and offices, where are people going to live, work, and everything else. Look at this chart that you see before you, and there's three noted areas, and then I'll talk about the existing right now. In 2011, during the recession, our vacancy rate, and you realize how the recession was so harsh during that time, was right at 11%, 10.9%. If you see in 2017, that was simply that when they posted that, these aren't our numbers, these are actually been posted. There was a high mark there, but We had a 200,000 square foot building that the people that did this research didn't know that was already rented. If it had been, it would have been a lot lower. So that was an error on the research part. And then during the COVID, the highest we had during the COVID of 2020 was 2.3%. And right now we're 1.3%. And again, I say this, and it is not our numbers. These are numbers that researchers have put out there and reported. And if you look at the 1.3%, that's the lowest we've been in 14 years. So I don't want to overemphasize that COVID hasn't had an effect of us, but we have not accepted the fact that we're going to lose. We've just taken what others have and bring it here. We planned during COVID to start doing campaign after campaign to bring the businesses here. We did what they call geofencing to the employee. We went after the employees, not necessarily after the employer, and that brought the employers here and backfilled everything. We didn't wait till an employer moved. As you see in this slide, Bigelow T is backfilling KCC. So before KC has even moved, they had a property that we worked with them on to build on, and we've already backfilled that with Bigelow T. And Cindy Bigelow actually called, as I've told y'all before, and interviewed myself and the city, Mike, to see if this is the place they want to have their tea bags done. Y'all may not realize this. I was amazed, and I might have told you this before. They do 1 billion tea bags in J-Town right now. That's 1 billion. And they're going to build it up to 3 billion tea bags. That's a heck of a lot of tea for this community that has to go out of here in a bagging. But they're a great community. They realized, and talking to Cindy Bigelow, she said the reason why we want to come to J-Town is because your family values are the same we teach in our business. And this is where we want to come to establish our business and make it even grow. Or they looked at other parts around our community. They looked at other parts of the United States. She is not here, but she looked at other parts, even where they are up in Connecticut, to possibly move it, and they picked us as J-Town because of what we represent. As you see up on the screen, $112 million, that's asset investment, building that these different companies have done over the last 12 to 16 months in our community. So people are investing, building. We're actually running out of room, guys. We've gone back to where the Midway area. We've looked at that, and that's kind of a hidden gem back there, and we have Lichterfield building back there. So there's going to be more and more limited time, but we actually have people tearing down buildings and building them back because they want to be a part of here. It's not uncommon for us to have to turn away people that want to come to J-Town because of what you all represent and how you pass your ordinances and how they are. You realize that we are here to help the business, help the community when they need help, but get out of the way when they don't. When we start talking about the revenue numbers, some of the monies that have come in, just to kind of put them on the screen to let you know, there's been the ARP money and the COVID money. The ARP money total will be close to 7.2 million coming into us. We get it over a 2-year period, and that can be used for various projects. Well, I won't go into the details right now, but it has to be building projects. And from that, I'll show you what we're looking in the future to build, and those will be for the building projects that we do in the future. The CARES money, we got 2 shots at it because one thing I was aware of it, but we got the second part, the 200,000, because the cities that didn't use it turned it back in. I had a conversation with the governor and said, no, we're not going to let the state spend that. It should go back to the cities because the city's money, we re-asked for it and they sent us the extra 200,000. So in the CARES money, we're sitting at $2.8 million. So you're sitting close to $10 million of money that is coming from the federal. I know there's a council person that would say, well, we shouldn't even spend that money. We shouldn't even get that money. But my other answer is, if anybody's going to get it and they're absolutely going to spend it, I would rather us get it because we spend it properly. We make sure it's done right. When we look into the revenue department, give you the last 5 years of actual revenue that has come in. Some of the amazing things, because people have said, occupational tax is going to fall off. We're going to fall off the earth. Chicken Little's going to throw stones at us and everything else. But if you look at the very top number, our occupational tax has been growing for the last 5 years. This does not include the refunds back. Well, it actually does, doesn't it, Bill?
Yes.
It does include the refunds back. This past year, we did have more refunds than we have in the past, but nothing like we programmed into the budget because we're conservative. We want to not spend over what we take in, but if you see what you have, we are level. We are growing. We are level. We're not overly growing. but we're growing at a steady pace that our city has always been at. And from last year to this year, you're looking at about 400,000, moving a little over 400,000, but it's still a movement in the right direction, because a lot of people are afraid we're going to go totally opposite. And down to a couple of years ago in 2019, we're close to 500,000, and we're positive. And again, last year we gave back more money. We usually give back, I believe, about 150 to 200,000. And this year we were probably double that, but still not over the top in refunds. The insurance premium tax actually went down a little bit, but I think that is simply a bookkeeping. The time and place it came in, it actually was at the right place. Property taxes naturally go up because the properties in J-Town is what everybody wants. We have never raised the rate in the 21 years I've been here, but the taxes go up because the property values go up. So at the end result, you see the 22 million, and the 22 million, we're sitting at about $500,000 to the positive. So that's a good thing. It's not over the top to where we can do whatever we want, but it's showing that we have a stable city, a debt-free city, and can move on to the future. The future, again, we don't stand still. We always move forward. We always plan for the future. We always look what next thing to be to attract people to stay here, grow here, and be a part of our community. And with that, I'll go into what. Yeah, there we go. And the one thing is the events. With everything happening in the world, the one thing that people don't realize is what our community is made up of. And it's made up of all different groups of people coming from all different areas. And we have a culture here that is second to none to anybody else. So we wanted to have an event, and we tried to have it last year, but the COVID got us. So this year we are going to do on April 23rd, we're going to combine the art fair, and we're going to have the culture fair. And the culture fair shows anywhere from different nationalities, different beliefs, it is the whole thing. So when you realize whether it's a Cuban community or the Black community or any other community that makes up our J-Town, well, all of a sudden we understand what the others are about, and we realize where they came from. And with that, it's called education. And we realize that they're friends and they're family, because J-Town is all about family. That is our motto, where everybody is family. If you don't believe it, follow the garbage truck. It's right on the side. It tells you right there. So we are excited about bringing the Culture Fest. Again, we're limited because of the pandemic. And it's not the pandemic that may not let us do it. It's because the restaurants have been hit so hard. We don't want to unduly ask them to come out and do something that would, because they're short of help and everything else. The next item is we've been looking for many years, is the grant that we're getting for the Waterson Trail streetscape. When I first came into office, we worked to get the Taylorsville Road streetscape, and we told the businesses in downtown, not the thing that you come and we will do this. We did this, and then we asked them to come. So this is the same thing. This is a redo of Waterson Trail from Billtown Road to the other side of the firehouse, the old Waterson Trail. That's phase one. And as you all know, the last council meeting, you all approved the MOA on that. Gone back up to Frankfurt for them to sign to come back. Unfortunately, Frankfurt put down the wrong secretary, so it had to come back. We had to re-sign it and send it back. Welcome to Frankfurt. But anyway, that should be coming. We should be bidding that out. And that's not only is the streetscape, it redoes the entrance into the parking lot over here, and it also redoes the front of City Hall. And it's all paid through the grant program of an 80-20 grant. The other grant that we've had, and this one I'll go either way if it can't get moved quick enough, because the Waterson Trail one took 7 years. Welcome to federal government. And if this one takes that long, it's ready, it's designed. We're going back to District 5 to try to get it approved and move forward. Patty Lane is an entranceway into our school, into our city, just like downtown. And we have a grant that will do the re-guttering the sidewalks, and also it's a safety issue for the kids that get off the bus to go to J-Town High School. So we have a design for that, to put sidewalks and modernize that area back to the neighborhood. It goes strictly back to the houses. It doesn't go any farther. And if the grant will pay for it, that's fine. If not, we'll probably have Public Works step up and move forward with that in the next several months. So the Patty Lane is another project we'll be looking to do this year. And as we've told you all and shown you pictures, is the next item that we're excited about doing is bringing our police department into the 21st century. We no longer have to budget skating equipment. head, knee gear, and roller skates, because we'll move them out of the skating ring and into a modern facility to get them to be the police department they should be, because we are the best of the best, whether it's the police or the building coming in the future. So we will be bringing you how we're going to handle this and how we're going to save money on this and building it in the future and what it will look like in the future moving forward. This probably won't get completely done while I'm here, but it will be started and move forward in this next year to make sure that the police have what they need in the future. And as I've said before, the old skating ring is deteriorating, and it's made for about 30 to 35 police officers, and now we're up to 55, which is 10% over our strength, our contract strength. So we believe in community policing, and we've even gone farther to make sure our police officers, there's enough on the street to both keep them safe and keep our community safe. So as we move forward with this, I will keep you informed. We had several meetings today. The next item, I'm not sure if you all are quite familiar with, is another police building. It's the police seized car storage, which will be behind Public Works building, the new Public Works building. As you know, we built that a couple of years ago, and we paid cash for that. And that was something that we felt was a need because our Public Works guys were sleeping on the floor in the garage during snow events, or sleeping on the lifts and everything, and that wasn't fair. So we built them a brand new building, paid cash for it, and they very much appreciate you all appropriating the money to do that. This is the seized fund building, and you may or may not know, we had a Mercedes that we seized, and at the end of the trial, we had to give it back, and because it wasn't necessarily all in the same shape, it got mold in it because of where it was stored. We had to pay to have the mold remediated before we gave it back. So it actually cost us. But even that, if we don't give them back, many of them we sell, we want to keep them in good condition. Those that are worth keeping inside, the building will be there. Those that they have to bring in, lift up, look for drugs, look for everything else that may be in there. They'll have the ability to do that in here. They'll have the ability to go through the car even if it's not lifted up. And so the inside building, the police seized building will be, again, not where it's at now, but right behind the Public Works building. And the person that will be paying for this, as I told you on the other buildings, the federal government was 80-20 on the grants. The police headquarters, we've saved up the money and have it in the bank. This one, we've asked for the donations from the bad guys, and they gave us their money and said, we will pay for a police seized money. It's called the seized funds, and they will be paying cash to have their own cars investigated and looked at in the future. So that will be paid for through seized funds. The next building, our next event, is we look to the future of J-Town and how do we bring people here and want to have them here and have them a part of town. And the next generation is not looking for golf courses. They're looking for things they can enjoy and relax and be a part of. And also the kids that not only don't necessarily play sports, but they want to get involved in the arts program. This venue will allow them to do that with the amphitheater. And also it gives us the second level of a primo event center. Tonight, we will be asking for your approval to start the earthwork on this item. And when I get into that, I'll tell you again, or I can tell you now, the earthwork originally was 2 years ago. We came and told you all it was going to be about 1.2 million. And with everybody going, oh my God, prices are going huge. What are we going to do? It came in at 960. So it actually came into 200,000 or 300,000 less than 2 years ago. So we're hoping all the buildings that we're building, because we're J-Town, we'll get them less, not more. Just joking, but this one is coming in less than what we ever anticipated moving forward. And it is a product to make J-Town stand out. Unlike what you all think of Norton Commons. You go, Norton Commons is a great place. We want to keep J-Town moving. We don't want to keep J-Town as the old J-Town, they used to be, or they has been. Because our Commerce Park was one of the very first in the state. We still are the largest in the state. We are the 1.3% empty, or 98.7% full. So we want to keep that. In order to keep that, we have to keep things going, to keep people to want to be a part of here and want to be involved in here. So the amphitheater is something that we believe very much. It's a phase 2 of our park. As you realize that we have phase 1 at the top, that was the Freedom Wall and the Veterans Plaza. If you look at most of the news, when they do their ads on We Are the Best News, they happen to use our wall. And there happens to be a university that Mark really, or several of you are very fond of. I think think it does that or something. In their ad, they use our wall. So it's actually known nationwide, and people come here just to see the wall and read the sayings. If you have anybody, please tell them to walk up to the wall and read what's in the silhouettes, because sometimes people see it, but they don't really experience it. And as we mentioned before, when, well, it was actually at another meeting, the 9/11 memorial, back during the day several years ago, several of us went up to New York and got a piece of the Twin Towers and brought it back. We always intended to do some kind of memorial. And we told you that this memorial is something that was part of Streetscape, but the federal government wouldn't let us do this under the grant. So Public Works has taken on the project. They will be doing it, except for some of the brickwork and other things that they don't have the people down there to do. And we'll be moving forward with 9/11, thanking those men and women, both in EMT, police, and fire, for dedicating their lives for us. The towers, you may not see it on this one, but below you see a little shadows below the glass. This has actually been changed since we had it. Those are what the buildings were below the tires. The tires will be two structures with glass on both sides. We will put an imprint on, say, on one side what the tires originally looked like, an office. Another side would have an imprint of the plane hitting it, the implosion, and everything else that's happening. And those that were at the dedication when we dug the dirt to do this, the lady that lives in J-Town that was actually in the building, was phenomenal listening to her, because she was on the 41st floor, 48th floor, and they told them to go down the steps. And this was this is one of those fire drill things. You know, how many times do we do fire drills? We go, yeah, sure. And they got halfway down, and they said, oh, go on back up. She went down. And if she had gone back up, she wouldn't be here to tell the story when we did 9/11 dedication this year. And the fact that when she was outside, she didn't look back, but she heard bodies dropping from the windows and everything. So it's up to us to make sure nobody forgets 9/11 in the future, because there's generations right now, 10 years later or 20 years later, that have not understood what that meant to us, what it meant to us as a country. So that memorial, it will be starting. As I said, the fire department tore down their office building today. We're trying to work in unison with them. So when they start putting their footers in, we'll start putting our footers in this memorial and start moving forward in the coming months as we move forward. The new one that you all may or may not have heard of is the Gold Star Families Memorial. This is a memorial that for those families that have lost loved ones, and the Gold Star is a monument that is already done. We're not inventing this thing, but we want to put it in our park to thank those that have died for our country. It's one more memorial. We're looking at a place today. I'll be meeting with Mike Wilson, who is part of the program of Gold Star Families, of how we put it, where we put it, and our Public Works will do the groundwork for it, and then we'll buy the memorial and put it up on top, thanking those families. We also have a Gulf Wars bronze plaque that we'll be putting out there. We already have that. We have not put out there yet. And then there was a suggestion of possibly looking at Tuskegee Airmen Memorial out there. So we're looking at more dedications to thank those men and women that have kept us safe for years to come. And as I said, the one thing that our city is known for very respectfully is we are veterans friendly, whether it's USA Cares helping those vets that need to help, or it's us dedicating what we can for our veterans. So I did a short version of where we are in our city and tried to do it short for you guys, because I can tell you the next one's going to be a 12-year review. So in the next fall. Any questions? Hearing none, I will pass out the information. Do what, Carol?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
You got control. That is the State of the City address. It is a pleasure always giving it to you all to let you know how great you all have done for a city. And it also is something that's required. So that being said, item number 8 is first reading of Resolution 686, Series 2020. And as I mentioned before, this is a starting of the amphitheater Phase 1, and it is the ground earthwork to allow me to sign the contract and move forward.
When I was looking at the bid, are they, like, when they're done with this, I know they're gonna bury a lot of stuff, drainage and things like that. What's the ground gonna be like? Is it gonna be gravel? Is it gonna be
Don't be grass.
just
It's grass. Yeah, unfortunately, where the building is being built is where the sewer plant pits were. And we let them implode the pits, and they had to do it down. They had to be down like 4 or 5 feet, thinking that was enough. But what's happened is, since we're putting a structure on top of it, even that has to be dug out and replaced with clean dirt and compacted. So that's part of the bid process that they would do here. They're running the electric that would go to the building. We thought it was advantageous to do that because if for some reason, why level the whole thing and then dig it back up to run electric to the building? So that will be run, and all the drainage will be run. We are working with MSD because we are in floodplain. There's a lot of touches that we have to do. Every time we adjust, we have to do 1.5 to 1. And with this and with Phase 1, it's included in the process, and we're getting all the different things. There is a little corner that was part of Watson. It's across the creek and everything, and they have agreed to donate that to the city to allow it to be part of the park. They'd rather not have to cut it and trim it and everything else. So they've been graciously agreed to do that. So we will move forward with it in the future. Public Works will be overseeing this along with Ron Taylor and his group and QK4 to make sure it's done properly.
Did you say that was in the floodplain zone?
Oh yeah, big time.
The sewer plant?
The bottom belly of it. That's why I left the 2 buildings there, because if we tore those buildings down, they're in the floodplain, you'd never be able to build them back.
Thank goodness it didn't flood when it was a sewer plant.
We've never known it to flood. There is a flood wall there,
Oh.
but we've never known it to flood since we've been here. Actually, when the sewer plant was there, if you all remember right, during heavy rain events, a lot of that, the dirty water would come out and go into creek. So our creeks are a lot cleaner now since it's gone. Mm-hmm. Now there is a gravity fed pipe that comes across that property that we had to work around. So
Are we on the 1.5 to 1? Are we doing that there, or going up or downstream to do that?
On site.
On site. Okay, we're able to work that out. And then will we be having drainage on the property as well, instead, because it's other, or we're just going to let it continue to absorb into the ground? I mean, do we have a special drainage for that as well?
Yeah.
To get rid of water?
Yeah.
That's the. Okay.
We're going to put the water fountains there.
The fact we're going to bring the fountain that was out in the Ohio River. Is that the one, Carol, you want to bring out?
Yeah.
And Mayor, can you remind us again how we're funding this?
This is all done through we have the other funding, as I showed you there, that will be coming for other events. But this one, over time, you all have agreed to put money aside in a fund for the park. And that's all in that park fund.
Money in reserve, right?
What's the total cost besides 900,000 here? What's the total cost?
Total cost of what?
Making this whole thing?
You've got 900,000 here. The building will be the next thing being out to bid. It will be about right now the estimate was 3.4. And then the small building that will be concession and bathrooms, which would be good because you also got the baseball field down there. That one is estimated to be about 200,000. And that's where we'll be paving and road work and all that. A lot of the public works would be, so we don't have a price on that.
You know, Mayor, I think it's beautiful what you've proposed. And I spoke with Bill Fox earlier today. I'm tickled that the first quarter of this year is so far over projections as far as occupational tax. And I truly am. I hope we can maintain that. you know, me being me, I'm always a little more cautious, and I'd like to see a little bit longer. I guess what I'm saying is I don't understand the urgency to do it now. I mean, it's going to take some time. I thought it was $10 million. Was the last thing I saw. It was a little over 10 million for the total project. We've already spent 150,000 moving the electric. What was it, about $500,000 on the design? And if we spend this million to move this dirt, I mean, to use a poker term, we're pot committed. Because if you don't build it at that point, you've wasted $1.5 million. I just don't know why we can't wait a little longer before we jump into this.
It's my understanding that we have the money to pay for it, and it came from ARPA.
No, this came from our savings.
Yep.
It came from
Actually
the
saved it, y'all
savings.
saved it.
There will be no debt. We won't be going to any debt, correct?
Correct.
And have we budgeted for an extra $1.5 million or so for salaries next year? An additional $1.5 million. But I think that's where we're going to be.
Y'all haven't started the budget yet, so we'll have to talk a contract with the police, and we'll have to talk about budgeting and everything else. That's not, right now, that's not what we're talking about here.
I know, but I'm saying if we commit to this, does that put us in a precarious position where we don't have that money to use for those later?
What we do for buildings is not affecting salaries. I'll put that.
And keep in mind, since we are debt free, where we were spending $1 million towards the debt every year, that we keep in house, that will go towards just what your projection
No,
may
you're
be.
asking
It'll
for
go towards the
960.
general fund.
But that will
I'll
go
make a
towards
motion.
salaries and things if you need it. But we'll have that.
We're going to need it. And I'm real tickled with what Bill showed me today. It looks like we're going to come in about $4 million over projections, which is phenomenal as long as it holds up. Of course, future's never guaranteed, but I am excited from what I've seen so far. It'll make my job much easier in the future. So
Maybe it's my job.
maybe.
Future.
I think you're both missing the boat for that.
We'll see.
Maybe it's his job.
But
It will not be my job. I'll put it that way. I can guarantee you that one. Not here, someplace else. But
That's another point. 3 of the 4 of us will not be here next year, and we're taxing the next
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4. You, Carol, me, and Brian.
Okay.
3 of the 4 won't be here. So I mean, we're saddling the next council with things that this council has done. I don't know if that's.
Well, I tell you, this council is a strong council. Even though there's maybe 5 that will be retaining, they're strong and they're going to move forward in the future. And I do believe that, and I agree that costs are not going to go down on this. So now's the time to go ahead and, since we have the funds and we're ready to move forward, I would not only recommend we move forward, I'll go ahead and make the motion
It's gonna do that.
to have a reading of resolution number 686 series 2022 by title only.
Second.
Second.
Second to Carol or Mark, whichever. Any further discussion?
Just one more point. I can go along with this as long as I'm assured that we're going to have the money to meet the raises that are going to be necessary in this coming year and not go into debt. If you can assure me of that, Mayor, I will.
Ray, vote however you want to vote.
So you're saying you can't
I'm
guarantee
not
that?
saying anything. I'm not sitting here guaranteeing one way or the other just to get your vote. You're trying to tie one thing to the other, and they're not even tied together.
No, they are. But
Well, I think for a city to grow, you're going to have to go in debt a little bit to continue to grow, I mean, when you buy a business, when you build a building to have a restaurant in it, you have to get a loan and you go in debt, and that's kind of how things turn. And
I agree with you on that. I've been here for many, many years, and I've sat through 3 mayors, and never have we been in the financial shape that we're in today. But I can tell you this, we floated a lot of bonds in my time, and the bonds now, if we had to borrow money, are a lot less money than what we paid for when Daniel Ruckrigal was in here.
we're very lucky
we're not
that Bill
borrowing the money.
Durf's here.
Yeah,
We're not borrowing. I'm saying if we had to
But
borrow
the-
the money, Ray, I mean, we're fine. We're in a great position to do this. He's got the money to pay for this.
Y'all have saved the money to do this.
Yeah,
to plan
this,
for the
but I'm
future
just
of the
saying we
city,
got
so
other
that-
responsibilities coming up, and we don't. nothing's guaranteed. And like I said, I'm extremely excited about what I've seen from first quarter revenues. And as long as that holds, we shouldn't have any problems. We just don't know yet. And I just don't want to get into a position where we're forced to go back into debt. You're very lucky Bill Durf was here to get us out of debt, because if some past mayors being here, we may not even be a city anymore. I mean, that's serious. I mean,
Well,
they
I'll put
were
it this way.
borrowing so much money and putting us so far under.
I'm going to leave you all to where the next mayor will understand what it takes to make the city grow.
Yeah, well,
I will say this too. I've talked to an exorbitant amount of constituents, and whereas they support anything we can do for our police department, that includes the new police building, which I think could be done for remodel for much less, but that's regardless. That's another topic. I have nobody that is in favor of this if it puts us in debt. Nobody. Zero.
well, then they'll all be in favor of it because it's not putting us in debt.
Right.
We'll see.
That's the way I would.
Well, you
I
can
would
say,
see
you
it
could
too.
say this isn't putting us in debt, but
No,
maybe
but
because we
you,
have to spend more money on other areas, that would be what.
no,
put
no,
us
but
in
you
debt.
you specifically said this item, this one.
Right.
So
Just
they'll
the-
be,
This
so they'll
item,
be
the
in favor of it.
960,000.
And basically,
It's
as
not
long as.
putting
we
us
don't
in
go
got a
into
second.
debt.
Yeah. The last thing
All
I'll
in
say about
favor?
that,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose. I think it's a great looking project. I think you've done a wonderful job selling it, but having fun and it's not going to be probably not going to be a great money maker for us. And having fun, we see what we got huge amount of money coming up for ball fields and for replacing toys for kids on the, what do you call it, playgrounds and all that. But anyway, I suppose. But anyway, I think you did I think a beautiful project, but
All right, thank you.
it's my opinion.
That being said, it was 7-1.
I think we should. I really think we should put it off for a while. But I love what you did. So I just don't know, man. I mean, you can't give me any guarantees that we're not going to have to.
Just
borrow
asking
any
for a
money.
vote.
No.
Okay, so that's 2 no's, 6 yeses, motion carries.
First reading of resolution number 686, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute documents pertaining to Veterans Park Phase 2, bid package 1, earthwork. That concludes first reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
All right.
Opposed?
Mark 2 is Vince and Ray is opposition. Motion carries. Committee reports. Councilman Hall,
Planning and zoning has nothing to report.
thank you. Councilman Powell,
I have nothing from the legislative department.
thank you. Councilman Garzanti,
Jimmy Franconi asked me to express that some people did not get their cul-de-sacs. And of course, that's lower priority. But he had about 5 people out on COVID, and they're back in shape now, and he
Be ready
appreciates
for
your
Thursday.
patience. Yeah, getting ready for Thursday. We'll be out there with boards knocking the wires, ice off the wires.
yeah, that's true.
That's all.
Thanks, Vince. Councilman Bloom,
Nothing from economic development, but I did just want to say I really appreciate the public works team. Going out there and salting and plowing. There's definitely a difference when you come to J-Town. One thing I think maybe, Mayor, we could do is I think sometimes there's some confusion for our residents. What's a J-Town road? What's a metro road? And what's a state road? Especially when there's a snow event. Is there any way that we could have like a map on our website where the J-Town roads are green and the metro roads are red and the state roads are blue?
if you
So-
actually look at the metro snow routes, it shows those red, their roads.
I know you're talking about on Logic.
They have a snow route map that shows which ones have been salt, which ones have been plowed, and it lists the roads that are in our area. Now, this last time, for you all that have done the snow this last time, J-Town Public Works was called out to both do county and state roads because they couldn't get out here. In fact, actually, Metro had a truck go off the road on Belltown Road that we had to help with. So it got confusing that time because we had to help a lot of people get moving. And this time to the point, there was people on the road, so we couldn't necessarily plow a road when you can't move. So there was a lot of
there was a
answer to
squall that kind of
But,
came out of nowhere.
yeah.
but-
There can be possibly in the future, it's a GIS system. We would have to hire somebody to actually do it and then map it and all that type of stuff. But that's something in the future. But right now, Louisville Metro has their roads mapped. So
Yeah, and I think that's where the makes it difficult, right? Like if I live on a metro road, but I'm in the city of Jeffersontown, I'm complaining to J-Town for not, plowing my roads when we shouldn't, right? We don't get paid to take care of those roads. And if there was just a quick map that they could go to quickly,
it's not a quick thing. It's a GIS thing. You have to have a GIS person that actually goes in and does an overlay of all the roads and marks them and everything.
so we couldn't just like pull up Google Maps and use a marker.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I think it's just a quick, easy way to communicate. Like, hey, these are the ones you can expect to get clean.
That's what I'm saying. If you send them to Metro snow wrap maps, it shows their roads.
The metro roads.
But so if the Metro road comes through J-Town, it's not our road.
I know.
It's a reverse of what you're asking.
I know. I get it. I hear what you're saying, man.
We can hire somebody to do it if you want to, but it's a whole system. It's not just a crown marking on the screen.
Mark, I've had conversations with Jimmy Franconi at Public Works about this as well. And not in this budget, but Jimmy is looking towards getting a GIS program for J-Town. I'm sure he's already talked to the mayor about it, but that's down the road. But yes.
His system, he wants to be able to mark the roads that have been
As
paved.
it's happening,
that have been
right?
paved and
No,
everything else.
he wants to do paving and sidewalks and
Yeah.
with how many years and everything. Oh,
I hear you. I hear you. I
But I think it's coming.
Yeah, I don't know how often, J-Town roads and Metro roads change hands with maintenance. So like once you do it, it's done. Like once you mark the road, who owns it, who's going to take care of it. And I know resident, I guess they could go to Logic and they could go pull up a snow map and it's easier just jtown.com, right? Like, I mean, it's something that Facebook page can share when they say, hey, park on the streets or don't park on the streets, park in your driveway, right? Here are the roads that we're going to take care of, It kind of gets on the front end of that communication.
I mean, if you want to, we can contract to get somebody to do that.
I didn't think we'd have to contract to know what roads are ours.
Oh, we know what roads are ours, but
Yeah.
to map it, you do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm asking for the wrong thing. So I feel like we're belaboring this point. I just, we know what roads we're going to be paving and taking care of. Pull up the map online and just print it off and highlight the roads and then take a picture of it. Put it back up. These are our roads.
Put it like a PDF.
Yeah, like a PDF document. I mean, we could spend a lot of money doing that. I just think it could be something done easily.
That'd be a lot of roads.
That's it. That's all I had to say. I just thought it was a suggestion, a way to increase transparency. That's all.
If we figure out an easy way to do it, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of a map, just names.
It might be easier to name
Say
the ones we're
Watterson
not
Trail
doing.
From here to here
It
is.
might be a sort of list.
Oh,
Anything else? Mark?
No, that was it. That was it,
Okay,
Mayor.
Thanks. Councilwoman Ware.
We had a Parks and Rec meeting, and I don't know where to begin. We talked about the playground equipment at Plainview and how eventually it's going to need to be replaced. It's in bad repair. We had photos we looked at, and it's not ADA compliant. And
It's
Jennifer
25
with
years old.
Bluegrass drew up a few proposals to give us just a little starting point, some ideas and things we could do to, replace the whole system. And that's, what we say, like 6 months down the road, maybe, thinking about that, putting it in the budget. Chris Rader came with Skyview Park, and pretty much all the fields are going to need to be reworked at one point or another. Field 1 and 2 are dirt fields, and that's something that Debbie has in her budget to go ahead and do before spring to get that done. And then the turf field, that's the biggie. It's in bad shape, and it's going to need to be redone hopefully next spring. It's dangerous. And it's lasted, they've been using it 22 years, and usually he said those fields only last 10 to 12, which I thought was interesting.
The turf field?
Mhm.
Challenger.
Wasn't that the one that was for the handicapped kids?
Yeah.
I think it'd been
That
22
been
years.
20 years,
That had been
too.
20 years.
But
Since I've been on the council.
I haven't since you've been on the council, but yeah, I think we're mixing it too. The fields themselves were 1995, 1996.
Right.
That's why we need
We
to,
did
or
it
the
with the water
playground
park.
and the playground and the fields came together. And then the turf field came probably 16, 17 years ago.
Been that long?
But to Pam's good point, normal is 10 to 12. So we're 5 to 6 years over normal. And the rubber that's coming that you use for padding underneath is all coming through.
Right.
And you can't get it back in. So
They repaired and patched it.
yeah,
many
it's
times.
time to,
Are we gonna put back in turf or take it back to the original?
the feeling is to take it back to turf.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try to program for the future.
Yeah.
Chris is leaving when I leave. So he was trying to bring things to you all that he sees that need to be done in the future. And as Pam mentioned, 1 and 2 right now we'll do, because we can do those and get those ready prior to the start of the season. 3 and 4 will probably be put out for bid and ask you all to possibly put it in the fall, because those will be grass replaced, sod replaced, and best time to grow grass is end of September, 1st October, and that's when they won't be used at that time. And then the turf field would be something we put out for bid also, because that's going to be over 30,000 to do that.
I think it was about 50,000 last time when I mayor, and that was
Pushing 80 to 100 now.
right.
Is there anything else? Am I missing anything?
I think that was it. That's enough.
it. That's all.
Thank you, Pam. Councilwoman Pike.
Nothing from safety, but I do have something from lawn hair patio homes. When we annexed them, they were hoping that they would get some street lights, and at the end of every street in there, it's very dark, is what they're saying, and somebody's knocking on their doors at nighttime at 2 and 3 in the morning, and they're old and they're scared, and they want to know if we could put some lights at the end of each street in there. And I guess there's like 5 streets in there.
Yeah, but
Private.
I think it's private, Carol.
It is private,
We
but
can't
they
put lights
pay.
on private.
That's why we can't pay.
What do you, let me ask you this. They pay city taxes. So what do they get for that? Garbage?
And police.
And police.
Public Works. I mean, they get a lot of drainage.
We're
I
not,
mean,
well, they're saying that, of course, we're not doing the roads because we can't get back in there, number one, to even do the roads, you know?
No, but we have drainage. They have a huge drainage thing in front of that place that we have to maintain and keep track of. It doesn't need anything right now, but everybody uses something different that the city has. And, but we can't legally build
Put lights
something
on
on
there?
private property. I can't put a street light in your driveway either. So,
Okay.
I mean, as much as you may want to, that's saying that you could do that in every condo association. And unfortunately, state law does not allow that.
Okay, I'll tell them that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
all I have.
Now, we do the trash, but we can do that by, if they give us the ability to come on without causing damage,
Hold harmless.
hold harmless agreement. But if they do cans, and we won't do dumpsters. But again, anybody at any lot that wants a light in their backyard or front yard, we can't put it in, as
Okay,
much as you'd love to.
I know, I would love to.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's all.
All right. Anything? That's all, Carol. Thanks. Councilman Perkins.
On a positive note, Mayor, I met with a gentleman today, and unfortunately, I'm not able to release all the information right now, but hopefully in the next 6 to 9 months, this company will be bringing a substantial amount of workers to Jeffersontown, and these are high-paying jobs, $60,000 up to some of the top brass making 6 figures and more. So I hope to be able to bring that to you in the next 6 months to a year.
Thank you. Anything else, Ray?
No, sir.
Councilman Abrams.
Mayor, Finance has no official report. I would like to commend Mike Kometz and your work on the vacancy rate at 1.3%, lowest in 14 years. And what we have 14 years later is a lot more buildings and with a lot more square footage. And to have it at 1.3 is amazing compared to what we had. So great work for you guys.
Without raising the occupational rate, from the time I came in to the time now, we're 50% more.
That's good.
clerk made the difference.
Nothing further, sir.
Thank you. The two items that I had on the mayor's remarks, we've covered, whether it was the chamber or the Christian church. So that being said, and I've already given you a few short items on the report of the state of the city.
No other business, Mayor. I make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We are out of here. Thanks, everybody.
Council members, please stop by the mailbox in the copy room and your W-2s are in the mailboxes.
It's in the copy room, though.
Yeah, we all went to the.
Other one, yeah. I can tell you why that later.
How long has it been in the copy?
Couple days.
Oh, just a couple, because I was going to say, I know I got that other not so long ago.